evening, guys. You're watching Mission 2024. I'm Preeti Choudhry. The biggest political controversy of the moment, the inauguration of the new parliament. The opposition calls it propriety. The government calls it pure politics. That's our top focus. Let me take you through the headlines. Opposition divided on parliament inauguration. BSP to attend. Mayawati calls the boycott unjustified. However, 20 political parties for the first time have come together to boycott the event. The Prime Minister draws comparisons with Australian opposition leaders attending Sydney diaspora event, says strength of democracy clear.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लोग में भारतीयों के प्रति चाहे पक्ष सत्ता का हो चाहे पक्ष विपक्ष का हो, सबके सब मिलजुल करके भारतीय समुदाय के इस कार्यक्रम में उतने ही उमंग और उत्साह के साथ शरीक हुए थे.
Politics over Sangol erupts. BJP slams Congress over walking stick remarks as Sangol was tucked away by Nehru and shows disdain for rituals. FIR filed against former Karnataka Mantri Ashwath Narayan for his thrash Chief Minister Siddaramaiah like Tipu remark. From Karnataka, the milk wars have now moved to Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister Stalin writes to Home Minister Amit Shah to stop Amul milk procurement from state-run oven sheds. It's another historic milestone by Indian Navy successfully undertakes maiden night landing of MiG-29K on INS Vikrant. All right, it's just 2 days to go for the inauguration of the new parliament by the Prime Minister. At least 20 opposition parties have come together to boycott the event. Their main demand is that President Murmu come and inaugurate the new Sansad.
While India awaits the opening of the sprawling new parliament building, unparliamentary politics is raging over the ceremony that takes place on Sunday. Built at a cost of 900 crore rupees, the new parliament building can accommodate over 1,200 MPs. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the new temple of democracy, more than 30% of the MPs will be missing from audience. At least 20 opposition parties, including the Congress, TMC, SP and DMK have decided to boycott the launch. They're insisting President Murmu should inaugurate the new parliament instead of Prime Minister Modi.
हमारी भूमिका है राष्ट्रपति को बुलाना चाहिए. राष्ट्रपति संसद की प्रमुख है. उनके आदेश से सत्र चलता है, उनके भाषण से सत्र चलता है. आप उनको नहीं बुला रहे, ये क्या बात है?
हम लोग ये नहीं चाहते हैं कि पार्लियामेंट का नया भवन उद्घाटन के नाम में मोदी अपना ड्रम बीट करे. हम तो चाहते हैं कि ये उद्घाटन राष्ट्रपति करे, क्योंकि वही देश के सबसे बड़ा हस्ती है.
The Modi government has hit back at the opposition, reminding them of how they had opposed Murmu in the elections that picked the first Adivasi president of the country.
Leaders belonging to these very same opposition parties spoke ill of her, abused her, said that she is going to be a rubber stamp, said that she doesn't represent any of what the country needs, and she is representing evil forces. It's surprising that the very same people who ran a bitter campaign, abusive campaign, are suddenly reminded about the president.
Amid the boycott calls, Prime Minister Modi, who returned from his tour of Japan, Australia and Papua New Guinea, took a veiled swipe at the opposition.
भारतीय समुदाय का जो कार्यक्रम था, वहां ऑस्ट्रेलिया के प्रधानमंत्री का आना गौरव की बात थी. लेकिन इतना ही नहीं, उस समारोह में पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री भी थे, उस समारोह में पूरी अपोजिशन पार्टी के मेंबर से, रूलिंग पार्टी के मेंबर से ये लोकतंत्र का वातावरण ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लोग में भारतीयों के प्रति
The Modi government has got a shot in the arm after the BJP's political rivals BJD, YSRCP, TDP and Akali Dal confirmed that they will attend the Parliament inaugural ceremony.
With days to go for the inauguration of the new Parliament building, we'll show you the facade from here. As you can see, that is the Ashok Stamp on top, which was earlier inaugurated by the Prime Minister, and now this entire new facade that looks like the Pentagon from the outside is going to be inaugurated on the 28th of May. A historic day, of course, being spoilt by opposition parties playing spoil sport over who should do its inauguration. With Pradeep Gupta in New Delhi, Milan Sharma for India Today.
Parliamentarian from Rajya Sabha, Mr. Manoj Jha of the RJD is joining us now. RJD, one of the political parties of the 20 that has decided to boycott the inauguration of the new parliament. Mr. Jha, you know, one can speak to as many constitutional experts. The fact is, you may attach a value judgment to it. You might call it propriety in terms of why the president is not inaugurating the new building, or the fact that why the president or the vice president are not invited. However, you cannot, sir, call it constitutionally illegal, because there is a separation which is made very clear where the parliament is concerned and the parliament building. The inauguration of the parliament building is in the hands of the executive, and the prime minister has invited himself to inaugurate it.
But let me state it. Who said that it is illegal? At least not me, not my party. You know, when we talk through the lens of constitution, the propriety issue, the moral fiber is much more important. And my reference point is nothing else. Now, without listening to any of the experts, I'll have this book in my hand and would open 79. Article 79, which unambiguously states that there shall be a parliament for the union which shall consist of the president and two houses to be known respectively as Council of States and House of the People. Now, this is the position. This is a building a new parliament. Now, forget legality, illegality. Let's not get into it. There is nothing, even things which when they are not constitutional, in order to prove legality, there would be miles to go. What is important, that is it desirable? Are we setting a new precedent? Are we saying that the new parliament will have much more say of the executive than the legislature? It's a question of propriety. It's a question of tradition. It's a question of how do we view Article 79 in all these contemporary debates.
But Mr. Jha, for the sake of an argument, what you make right now, the same argument can be turned around on you, sir, when you talk about propriety, when you talk about precedence, when you talk about coming together. The sheer fact that the opposition today is standing accused of boycotting an event where the Prime Minister is inaugurating possibly the biggest symbol of democracy where the country is concerned.
Look, very frankly, I'm seriously worried about the discourse in my country. How do we view parliamentary discourses when a bill is passed in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes? How do we view parliamentary procedures and parliamentary protocol when an important law, farm laws, were bulldozed through the parliament? We kept begging, please have larger debate. The executive thought that the ruling party thought that they can get away with numbers. But ultimately, when the protest erupted, almost in the entire northern India, the government apologized. The Prime Minister apologized and withdrew it. Had they listened to us on that day, that's what we have been saying. Please understand, it is not petty politics. You can't have opposition as part of your orchestra. He is my Prime Minister also. Can't I tell him, request him, so please respect Article 79 Honorable President should inaugurate this building. If we ask this, put our demand, insist on it, and if the Prime Minister and his team doesn't relent, we say that we'll not be part of this kind of occasion, a kind of event where the discourses are not important. You are actually trying to museumize the very idea of democracy. This is not petty politics. I am sorry. We have seen enough of it. We have seen the kind of discourse Honorable Prime Minister indulges it. And the recent example is Karnataka. Bajrang Bali is equal to Bajrang Dal. I never thought any of my Prime Minister will take the electoral discourse to that level. That is the damage to democracy, not what the opposition today is doing by deciding not to be part of this event, which is actually an event management by the 10th Shamiana company of BJP.
But Mr. Jha, that's the argument, because the argument is by the government and quite a few thinkers as well, that the opposition could have risen above it. You could have coerced the Prime Minister to invite, the head of the parliament, who is the president. You could have, which you are doing. You could have insisted that the vice president, who actually is the chair of one of the houses, be present there, but risen above petty politics of what you talk and attend a function which is in tune of celebrating a symbol of democracy. The charge, Mr. Jha, is that political parties, for the first time, banding together in the strength of 20, which hasn't happened before, for you is in a way of flexing your muscle when it comes down to unity where the opposition is concerned.
Look, I would not trumpet that this is one issue where we have all come together. It was largely spontaneously. And spontaneity was the hallmark of this. None of us had a kind of mechanism that we'll talk. This is an issue of opposition unity. This is an issue which should be an issue for everybody who believes that whichever party is in power should run this great nation on the basis of the premises drawn in this book called Indian Constitution. Anything beyond this, beneath this, below this is not acceptable. I'm glad large number of opposition parties have decided to go ahead with the fact that telling the Prime Minister, sir, please go for course correction. And if that eventually becomes part of a larger, say, matrix of opposition unity, that is good for the country. That is good for the people. At least we shall be able to retrieve what we have lost in last couple of years.
Mr. Jha, in a democracy, as opposition parties, it is your right to boycott a political event. But if you are going to attach value judgment to the Prime Minister inaugurating the new building and not allowing the President to do so, then be prepared that there will be a value judgment attached to the opposition as well for boycotting an event which many view as a celebration of democracy. But I thank you, sir, for coming in and joining us and giving your point of view. Propriety versus politics, which is it? We leave our viewers to decide. Meanwhile, we're going to quickly shift focus to the other big developing story that we're tracking very closely. There was a fair amount of jubilation, viewers, that went down with India's Project Cheetah. But India's Project Cheetah has witnessed many setbacks. A deathly shadow now hangs over India's Project Cheetah. 2 more cheetah cubs have died in Kuno National Park on Thursday, allegedly due to severe dehydration from the heat wave conditions prevailing in Madhya Pradesh. As per park officials, while 3 newly born cheetahs have died, the 4th one has been kept under observation. The latest fatality brings the death toll of cheetahs in Kuno to 6 in just the last 2 months, including 3 adult cheetahs that were translocated from African nations. Now, after the death of these 2 cub cheetahs and 1 in the hospital, Kuno National Park is left with only 1 cub, and that 1 cub right now is ailing in a hospital with similar conditions of dehydration.
23 तारीख की ही बात है, जिस दिन सुबह एक बच्चा मरा मिला था। उसी दिन जब हमारी जो मॉनिटरिंग टीम और जो वेटनेरियंस की टीम है, उन्होंने मदर और बच्चों को निगरानी में रखा उन्होंने, लेकिन आफ्टरनून होते होते तक 2 बच्चे वो और कमज़ोर दिखे, जो ज़्यादा मूवमेंट उनका रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो गया, तो उनको उन्होंने ट्रीट करने की कोशिश की, बट वो ट्रीटमेंट के दौरान ही वो कोलैप्स हो गए। फिर चौथे बच्चे की वहाँ पे पास में ही उसकी आवाज़ सुनाई दी, तो उसको फिर रेस्क्यू करके हॉस्पिटल में लेके आए हैं और उसकी भी हालत बहुत अच्छी नहीं थी, लेकिन ट्रीटमेंट के बाद वो अभी काफ़ी चुस्त दुरुस्त दिख रहा है। अंडरवेट है, कमज़ोर हैं और डिहाइड्रेटेड बच्चे थे।
I want to cut across to my colleague Hemendra Sharma, who's joining us right now from Bhopal. He's been tracking the story very closely in Madhya Pradesh. You know, Hemendra, earlier on when the first fatality happened, everybody, especially, you know, those who were chairing Project Cheetah, thought, okay, this is a small setback. But 6 cheetah deaths in just the last 2 months. The latest 2 cubs have died because of a heat wave or the present conditions where the weather is concerned in Madhya Pradesh. The third one, we believe, is in a hospital ailing with similar conditions. What's the latest that you're picking up?
Well, till now, 3 cheetahs have died and 3 cheetah cubs have died. 2 cheetah cubs were reported dead today. In fact, the CCF has said that they were taken ill on the 23rd when the first cheetah cub was reported dead. So, because of severe heat conditions, as you mentioned, these 2 cheetah cubs have died. Now, there's the 4th cheetah cub whose condition is reported to be critical. That has also been said by forest authorities. So, overall, 20 cheetahs had come from Namibia and South Africa. On the 17th, the process started on the 17th of September last month. And now there are 3 cheetahs who have been reported dead. So the number of cheetahs that are left is at 17. And the cubs, there were 4 cubs that were born at the Kuno National Park. From out of those 4, only 1 is left. And the condition of that cheetah cub is also reported to be critical. Of course, conservationists and people associated with Project Cheetah, they are raising questions that the conditions are not conducive for the cheetahs to survive at Kuno, because the authorities are also now saying that it is because of extreme heat wave conditions that the cheetah cubs got dehydrated. In fact, on the 23rd, a maximum temperature of 46 degrees was reported from Kuno. So they're saying that because of that heat, these cheetah cubs are getting dehydrated, and it's because of that that they're finding it difficult.
I'll ask you a quick question. There was so much research that had gone into Project Cheetah. So these are the conditions when it comes down to the weather in Madhya Pradesh. This could have easily been factored in and anticipated.
Well, the Shiopur, the Kuno National Park is in Shiopur district. That's bordering Gwalior, the Chambal division of Madhya Pradesh. So that particular area is known for extreme heat wave conditions, and this thing must have been factored in when they were doing the research on Project Cheetah. But nevertheless, the cheetahs were translocated, and at that point in time as well, there were people who were raising so-called apprehensions about the fact that the conditions were not conducive and intercontinental translocation of cheetahs was not advisable. These were the questions that were raised at that point in time as well. But the Operation Cheetah went ahead. Prime Minister Modi's birthday was chosen as the day when they were to be brought in, the first batch, and now we have seen the results. Now people are getting skeptical about the whole Project Cheetah, because within a very short period of time, 3 cheetahs and 3 cheetah cubs have died.
Thank you, Hemendra, for joining us. We're going to continue to keep the spotlight on the story. We do hope that the 3rd cub, which was ailing in a veterinary hospital under the same conditions, which is dehydration, actually makes it. But trust us to keep you up to speed with the latest that is coming in on India's Project Cheetah. With that, shifting focus, India's top wrestlers' dangle for justice continues. 32 days now. The wrestlers protesting against BJP MP and Wrestling Federation of India Chief Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh will now be holding a mega women's Mahapanchayat in front of the new Parliament building on the 28th of May. Aside from a protest march to the new Parliament on inauguration day itself, Olympian Vinesh Fogart said women will lead the Mahapanchayat till justice is served to the daughters of the country. The wrestlers are also going to their respective villages today to garner more support for the cause. Meanwhile, WFI chief remains defiant. Brij Bhushan said that he is ready to undergo a narco test as he is confident of his innocence.
कोई रिस्पांस अभी तक सरकार की तरफ से नहीं है, तो आगे की रणनीति है वो जो हमारी बड़े बुजुर्ग खाप पंचायतें हैं उन्होंने फैसला लिया है 28 तारीख को महिला महापंचायत होगी नए संसद के सामने। तो मैं आप आप लोगों के माध्यम से अपील करती हूँ कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा महिलाएं बेटियां वहां पहुंचें, क्योंकि ये भारत की बेटियों की लड़ाई है।
हमारी खाप पंचायत प्रधान जितने भी संगठन हमारे से जुड़े हैं, उन्होंने पार्लियामेंट के सामने, जो नई पार्लियामेंट उसके सामने, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं कि भाई अंदर घुसने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, शांतिपूर्वक अभी तक हमने सब जो भी कुछ किया शांति प्रिय किया है, और हम शांतिपूर्वक ही हमारी जो मातृ शक्ति है वो खाप पंचायत करेगी, महापंचायत करेंगी और युवा शक्ति, और वो वहाँ पे जो नया फैसला लेंगे कि आगे कैसे बढ़ना है।
इनके पास ना एक ऑडियो है, ना एक वीडियो है, ना बंद कमरे की कोई बात है। अब ये सबूत देने के बजाय मैया मैं तो चंद्र खिलौना लेता हूं और देश का माहौल बिगाड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं।
Cutting across to my colleague Abhishek Anand, joining us live from the national capital. Abhishek, the wrestlers today are not at Jantar Mantar. They've gone back to their respective villages to gather more support. But it's a face-off, Abhishek, which is being planned on the 28th, because that's the time where the mega event, the inauguration of the parliament will take place, of the new parliament. And that's the time when the wrestlers, along with over 20,000 women associated with various CAPs across the country and even ASHA workers, will be marching to the new parliament.
Well, Preeti, and this is going to be a serious trouble for not only the government but the Delhi police also, as the entire area will be cordoned off. Delhi police is making special arrangements for the security of the area, and it can be a flashpoint if the protesters try to march towards the new parliament building, as very strict security measures are being taken. So far, the wrestler protest was confined at Jantar Mantar. Now they are trying to expand the expansion. The direction of the expansion is towards the Khap Panchayats, and that is what is worrying for the government, for the police. If in large number people come to Delhi in large number with protesters, with the wrestlers, there can be a serious trouble for police, for the government. Preeti.
Well, you know, Abhishek, you're right, because it's not just a large gathering. This time around, it will be a gathering of women. Now, in terms of sheer optics, how that goes down with the Delhi police facing off eyeball to eyeball with women from various CAPs, some of them ASHA workers, some of them from various walks of life, a lot of them politically motivated as well, but all of them coming together to support the wrestlers. How it goes down, we know on the 28th of this month. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us. Meanwhile, let's get you the latest chapter in Mission Opposition Unity. Visuals coming in from Maharashtra. Amidst Delhi government versus centre showdown over the recent ordinance, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal met Mr. Sharad Pawar, NCP patriarch. Chief Minister Kejriwal has been garnering support from other opposition parties against the centre's ordinance reversing Supreme Court verdict on control over services, claiming that the situation in the country was dangerous. Alleging that all the powers of Delhi government are being taken away by the Modi government, Kejriwal said that snatching power of an elected government will hamper the functioning of Delhi. Kejriwal is aiming to note that the upper house of the parliament passed the bill.
Well, मेरी सोच ऐसी है कि नॉन डिवीजन की जितने पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज है, इन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज जो नॉन डिवीजन की है, उनके साथ बात करें, उनको कन्विंस करने के लिए सुझाव दे दे, और इनका सहयोग अरविंद जी को मिलेगा, इस पर ध्यान देना हमारा फर्ज है, चाहे कांग्रेस हो या चाहे बीजेपी जनता हो.
Getting into a quick break. To stay with us on the other side is To The Point.
The heart of India's tech industry hosts a tectonic event. The latest updates in technology and innovation. The biggest names in Indian tech under one roof. From AI to 5G. From EVs to data security. Discover how technology is transforming our lives. Catch all the action at the BT Tech Today Congress in Bengaluru on June 2nd. Live across the Business Today multiverse.
Summers are devastating for stray animals. The scorching heat wave means animals living on the street struggle for water. Karma Foundation is on a mission to make life easy for stray animals.
This water bowl challenge is also one of such initiatives where we know during the scorching heats of summer has to provide the basic requirement for the health of the pet, which is water, and hence we are actually donating the water bowls.
These water bowls are a big relief for stray animals living under the open sky in sweltering weather. Karma Foundation has requested people to join their movement by placing a bowl of water outside their home or workplace. Bureau Report, India Today.
Our fact check segment where we bust fake news. There's a claim suggesting Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah grooving to famous Kannada song. The fact check on that. The video is of a Siddaramaiah lookalike and not the Chief Minister of Karnataka himself. With that fact check, a quick break. On the other side is to the point.
Previously, people were talking about, oh my God, here's another demonetization. Nothing like that. The RBI governor has been quite outspoken coming out with a